follow my own advice. For the rec commission for 11/3 here at 5:30 at Whipple Hall. So the first thing we want to do is review and accept the meeting minutes from 9/8/25 and 10/6/25. Everybody should have copies of those. We didn't get to the last ones because Carl wasn't here, so.
And I wasn't here for the September one. So someone else will have to
Okay.
make the motions. I'll go for it. I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from September 8th. Anybody? All those approved? Aye. Anybody opposed? I'll make a motion to approve the October minutes. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? All right.
All right, so I guess, Julie, before I forget, I made a note here. We did want to just kind of circle back to your conversation about some marketing support with Abby Peel, things like that. So if you want to just kind of share where your thoughts were about that.
So just to recap what I had brought up last time, for those who weren't here, is that what you were looking for? So Abby Peel is a marketing director in our community. She does the Barn Playhouse, and she's someone that I work with for my own business. And we were talking a lot about just ways that she might actually benefit us. And I think it's really great, the possibility maybe to have her come in and talk about what she could do to help us get the word out more about events that we do. She could also do a website for us or manage the site. And she also, one thing she does for me that has helped grow my business a lot is she does my social media posting. So every 4 days something goes up, and that really grows your community quite a bit. So I don't know if it's something we want to entertain having her come in on a meeting night and talk about what she feels she could offer us. I find her very inexpensive for what I get back as a business owner. And I just think that maybe it's some way that we could take a little bit off Putnam's plate. And when you see the returns on it and for the investment, I just feel it's totally worth it. So I don't know if you guys want to think about having her come to the next meeting. And if so, I could reach out and, let her know a time. Or she could even write a proposal that we could review if you want to do that. And
Could it be a both and? Like, well, what order of events would she want to come and talk to us and learn about what we're thinking, and then would she give us a proposal? And then my follow-up to that is like just looking at our budget, would we is it just the advertising line item that we would use to pay her for those types of services, or is there another line item that
Yeah, I
would
think
be
that would
appropriate?
fall under advertising, and I think, we've discussed that the importance of those things, and I think she's a great resource. And when I first was starting out, I did meet with her a couple times, a couple of short sessions to kind of get a just general kind of overview of where things are at and add to what I knew about Facebook. But I think it does come down to the cost, and that we would really want to see if that was going to be worth the return on investment. And I agree that, we come back to it all the time about always ways we can improve our marketing, and improve the website, kind of get shopper ads more effective. So I think that there's no doubt that that's a really important thing we need to do, but I think I'm just not sure about investing in it with limited funds, but it's worth exploring.
Yeah.
yeah, I think too, we could go as minimal as we wanted to. I don't think it has to be like, oh, we make this huge commitment, but like, let's give her maybe a piece of it. She could start working on, see what kind of return we get.
Yeah.
I mean, she does the barn.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. what
We
she
could be
does.
really clear about
there.
like what the success metrics are, you know, and
Yeah.
kind of do an experiment, and, you know, kind of see if there's,
So, I mean, I think she'd already kind of told me some ideas she had, so maybe we just, I'm thinking just invite her to the board and share in ways that she feels she could benefit the rec commission, and especially in relationship to increasing in, number of people coming to events that we work so hard to put together. You know, you want to have a good volume of people, so,
yep,
if you want, I could just invite her to the next meeting,
yeah.
if that's
let's do
worth.
it.
Okay, great, I'll reach out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so that brings us to,
One thing, Putnam, I'm sorry. So on the note of the website, there was in the town's fiscal budget for this year, I thought there was money allocated to redo the website. So I'd be curious, that's a great idea, but then before we go too far down that side of things, I was wondering if you had any update on where that stood, because that could change.
I think that is
Thanks.
a work in progress.
Okay.
Yep, and I think they're exploring a few different options. But yeah, it would be nice to get a little bit more user-friendly. Ours is not so user-friendly. So,
I mean, that's kind of how the conversation with Abby and started, is people were asking her like when Halloween was and everything, and she said she had a really hard time navigating the site to figure out when it was and what time and all that, and then that's how the conversation started, is just like, you know, we could just make it so much easier for people to find events. So anyway, for what it's worth.
okay, so we good to move on to the just budget review? Everybody should have a packet which talks kind of the numbers on the front, and then the second page is the narratives talking about each section of our budget that I have direct kind of, some go through Lynn at finance, and then other ones, you know, obviously staff wages, you know, equipment at the beaches. Those are the things that I work on, specifically things like life and disability insurance, FICA, things like that. That kind of goes through Lynn. So this one we have right here for fiscal year 2027, this is from October 2nd, so these numbers might have tweaked a little bit, but my numbers, big numbers, haven't really changed. And basically where we are in the process is that the selectmen had a all-day jamboree where we presented all of our information, our proposals, our ideas for the fiscal year 2027 in mid-October, early October on a Friday. And now the budget committee is doing the same thing. They'll hear each department come through and, you know, talk about their proposed budget for 2027, ask any questions. And then by usually February, early February, they'll have dialed in on a budget that the selectmen approve and that the budget committee approves, and then that one will go to town meeting in March. So we are, just a scheduling thing, we are up for the rec department on Wednesday, November 19th. And the meetings are right here, unless they change them, right here, and they're at 6 o'clock. So if people can be here for that, it's always great to have people here from the Rec Commission to support that. We're there with, they'll do a bunch of different organizations, so it's not just us, but it's few other organizations that will be going that night. So if people are around, Wednesday, November 19th, and yeah, it's a really interesting process to see, and you know, encourage people to see the meeting. The meetings are recorded, read the minutes, things like that. So basically, breaking down our fiscal year 2027 budget would be $233,826. That is less than last year's, unders last year's of 236,929. The biggest changes would be in waterfront staff wages, where we're thinking about the option of reducing, the wages would be reduced from $6,000 from down $6,062 from last year. So we would have a total of $58,940 for waterfront staff wages this year. And my thought is to try to still offer really adequate, good, safe coverage, but also to kind of streamline it a little bit to meet need, to save a little bit of money, but while still offering, like I said, safe coverage that meets the needs of the community. So thinking about the first change would be having beach attendants be there from 5 days a week, Wednesdays through Sundays, instead of 7 days a week. I think that that's a way to trim that position down a little bit, but still have people be able to have those 5 days, be able to get the boats out. There are days, cloudy days, windy days, sometimes during the week, where the beach attendants will do all their jobs and they don't have a whole lot of other things to do. So this seems to me to be kind of an option to consolidate that down a little bit. And then also doing that as well to not have 2 at each beach per day, to have 1 there per day, maybe a weekend have 2 at each beach per day, but to bring that number of average staff on duty from 3 down to 2 per day. So thinking about trying to trim a little bit there as well. I think that's doable. I think that's going to, certainly we would be promoting the fact that boats would be available Wednesday through Sunday. So I think that that seems like a good trade-off to be able to save a little bit of money in staffing costs, but also, like I said, be able to still offer that position. The lifeguards would be doing any beach, like cleanup and things like that, the Monday and Tuesday that the attendants weren't there. And then,
Can I ask a question?
sure.
So as far as, like, I think I like this because I remember back to last year's budget cycle and John Tilley talking about, like, you know, because there had been discussion about getting rid of the beach attendant role altogether. And John Tilley made a great point about, you know, it's a great feeder program to the lifeguard position, right? But I can also channel, like, the questions that will be asked. And one of those questions would be, you know, do we have data to back up that there's less requests for paddle boards and kayaks on Monday and Tuesday?
Yeah,
We
so.
can, like, just come proactively to demonstrate why it's, you know, a smart decision. Right?
Yeah, I think that you'll see that we certainly have days each summer where there aren't a lot of boats going out, and it does seem like when you look at the numbers, I'll keep logs of how many were used each day over the summer. So it does seem like weekends are higher use, and I think that you will see days that there are gaps there. So I think that that's certainly that we can probably hopefully consolidate it down a little bit.
I'm just saying, in preparation for those questions, I would try to
For that meeting.
synthesize that data in such a way that it's, like, readily available, that we can already present it, because we're making this recommendation and to show that there's data to back up, and just to squelch any
Yep.
questions would be my recommendation.
Okay, so, and then one change for the lifeguards would be having them starting on the last day of the Kearsarge School District, instead of trying to do weekends before in the preseason. Usually the last few summers, we've done our training in late May and early June anyways, so they haven't been there Memorial Day weekend or the first weekend in June, so usually it's been like the couple weekends before, so which can be tricky to staff, and also, you know, the weather can be all over the place at that time of year. So again, I think this seems like we have a good, adequate coverage of the season if we start them on the last day of Kearsarge School District, rather than trying to piecemeal together weekends before. And again, seems like something to try this year. If we've been trending in that direction anyways with our training being later in the season, and then also it's been shown that, you know, we'll be able to staff one beach maybe during, there aren't as many kids around at that time of year. So again, trying to consolidate it, and then the kids know that, say, hey, when school's out, we're starting that last day of school, we're starting and going all the way 7 days a week through Labor Day. So that's the waterfront staff wages section. And then conferences and training, which is, I think, on the second page, third page, towards the top, under travels and meals. Doing this basically is for our person who's been working for us from the very beginning, Len Angeli, who oversees the guard certification, oversees the swim lessons, oversees the in-services. He also helps consult me with general kind of layout of the beaches, safety things about that, things with docks, things with lines, things with first aid equipment, things like that. So he does a lot of consulting with me. So like I said, he's been working with us since I've been here for the summer of 2021. It's really valuable information that he provides, and then also his ability to get our guards trained efficiently is really, really key. He can kind of work with us in our schedule to try to get kids certified and recertified, and his rates are lower than other places around. So that's a savings as well. But trying to make sure that we have enough money to pay for him, his annual fee, and then also to be able to pay the kids to be able to get their training reimbursed, which I think is really, really critical in gaining staff and returning staff, is if we cover that. And that's, you know, a certification is $430 this season. He didn't foresee it going up, but it has gone up over the past couple of years. And again, some places a lifeguard certification course would be $600 or more. So we do get a pretty good deal with him. And then the recertifications are $300. So that was going over this last year. So this is trying to make up and get that number where it should be, so we're not overspending that line. We also have to pay for Colby Sawyer. They charge us for the lanes when we do our preseason training. And luckily, the last few seasons, we've done that in conjunction with Slope and Shore. He'll train their guards as well, so that's we split those costs, but that cost does add up as well. So this is a increase of $3,000 to cover his fee, and then cover the increasing costs of the certification reimbursement for the guards, and then Colby Sawyer training, paying for the lanes there too. So that's an increase there. Any questions on that section?
Just in general, do we have a view of this where we see the actuals?
Okay.
Yeah, like just, you know, because we can see the 2026 amount and the 2027 amount, but we don't see the actuals for 2026, so it's just hard to tell.
So, again, I have this big thing.
Yeah.
So,
It's, I mean, I don't know if it could be sent to us, like,
okay,
after the fact, but that'd be really useful to
okay,
just
I
see
can do that.
and understand. And then are you going back to the telephone and pagers one? Because that's a huge increase.
That one, that would be a question for Lynn. I don't really, I don't, you know, I have my work cell phone that I think is pretty important to have over the summer.
Yeah.
So, and also when I'm during the year, if I'm doing programs and things like that, to be able to reach people and have people reach me. But I can follow up to her as to the exact reason behind the increases there, but I have a feeling that it's probably just what the rates are.
Did you get a new pager? That's what it says, telephone and pagers.
No pager. I wanted one, but they wouldn't give me one.
And then, phones at both beaches, yeah. So again, I'm being nitpicky because I just know that the community will be nitpicky, so we just need to be able to speak to why would have an 87% increase on that.
Okay. Yeah, and I think that the phones at the beaches are, important just to have as a backup in case, because everyone's like, oh, everyone has their cell phone, but for some reason, people don't, and that's also a way is helpful for me to be able to call down there, and they know that usually if the phone's ringing, it's me, to be able to reach them. So, okay. Coaches and training. And then the other one was increase to cover new AEDs, which are the automatic external defibrillators, which we have at both beaches, and those are in need of replacement. 2 of them is about $2,600 to replace those. So that would be bumping up to $5,100, and those are, obviously things we have to have down there. The staff is trained in those, and to have ones that are, ours are working well, but are past, it's time to be replaced, so. Any questions on that section? For capital reserve, again, this has been proposed. So the capital reserves are basically what we would, we're spending for the swing set replacement. That is a fund that is, each department will have for various things, and we have one for recreation facilities. It hasn't been added to for a while. I think there's about 40,000 plus in there currently, and a proposal was made to add $4,000 to that annually moving forward for fiscal year 2027, which is, I think, a good opportunity to be able to add some, to be able to have a fund to be able to cover long-range costs and things like that, so we don't have to add them to the budget. So I think that seems to be a reasonable ask that puts some more money as we take money out of that for various projects. That I think that's a proposal right now to start adding some money to that reserve again, which I think is a good thing. We had talked about the capital reserve expenditures moving forward. Certainly the swings at Elkins Beach we had talked about a little over $14,000, our initial estimate. It's looking like it's going to be less than that. But then also looking at replacing ladders and also getting a replacement kiddie dock at Elkins, because the one we have down there is, past its lifespan. So we need to that's the small gray one that sits in the shallower water. The other one at Buckland looks really good still. So, but that's, I had said about $4,000, $6,000 for the docks and ladder repair replacement, and then 14,000 plus for the swings. And we had also talked about trying to get some updated signs at the beaches. We don't have an official kind of rules and expectations sign like we do at Elkins at Buckland, so I think it would be good to spend. I think I had allotted about $1,000 for those to be able to have. We review the expectations, be able to have something there in writing for people to be able to see right there, and kind of maybe a little bit more colorful, a little newer, or something like that. I think that's helpful information to have. So, questions on that part of it?
My apologies if this was talked about last month because I wasn't here. Did we get an update on whether we were able to take more money out of the capital reserves for the landscape plan?
So
Go back and ask because it
that,
wasn't.
that would have to be like a totally separate thing. But if we wanted to, that could be something we could go back and have, I think, develop that plan a little more thoroughly, and then to say, hey, here's what we want to do, here's how much it's going to cost, and then do another proposal to have that come out of the capital reserves for that next phase of the project.
Okay.
Because I think we had kind of thought maybe if that money was there and we didn't spend as much on the swings, then we could use the extra money that we allotted, kind of thinking it was for the same area, the same general project. But I think that we need to separate them. So it's an ask for the swing project, and then it's an ask for that phase of a landscaping plan.
But are you wondering if, like, at the next selectmen's meeting, we could just go, knowing that we want to get that work done?
Were
Like,
we
there's
saying-
there's not a
were we saying we
dependency.
needed to have, or we needed to get on, do we need to get on the schedule with them, or are we saying we're gonna hold and wait and ask later? I didn't know where we landed. I thought we were thinking about it'd be good to ask for that, but I don't know if it sounds like, are we at that point?
I mean, I suppose if we, and I know this is on the agenda, but, spoiler, if you can. Do we have the date when the swings are getting installed yet?
So I talked to Chris today, and he had said that he was hoping sometime the week of this November 17th to the 21st. He estimates it's a one-day installation, and that if you haven't been down there, I would recommend that you go down there. It's looking amazing. Last week, they removed the old structure, dug up the concrete foundations that were there. It's all smoothed out, looking really good. They're doing ongoing work on drains off the building, and then they're doing plantings and other improvements for runoff and drainage down there. So it's going to look really, really great. So basically, Chris, who's from Ultiplay, was saying that basically they have one day they'll bring their equipment down there. The engineered wood fiber, which is the surface that we need to have, is been purchased from Durgan and Kroll, I believe. That is sitting down at the Department of Public Works, and if not, they're going to get it this week, and then bring it down there for them to have to use for that project. And he had $10,063 for their portion of it. We do have to pay for the wood chips, which is going to be $500, $600. And then we also had to split the tubes they use for kind of like construction erosion management, silt socks, because DPW was doing that project already, we were able to basically say, okay, what is the part of that goes towards the project that we're our swing set project? So we'll have probably maybe less than $500 there as well that we'll have additionally. So hopefully it'll be $12,000 or a little bit over all told for the project. And like I said, he said one day it's again going to be when the swings were here, and the water is here. So the new swings are going to be kind of down here. So they'll have a border that will keep all the fiber in, and then they're going to have, so basically it was 2 belt swings, and then the post with the kitty bucket swing, that'll be on the far side, and they're going to have, they put, it's like kind of like beams that will help keep all the area contained and all the wood fiber in there, and those are raised up, probably 8 to 10 inches, and then there'll be a certain area that will be there'll be no border, and then they'll be able to kind of ramp that up, and that's where the plastic mats will be leading up to one of the swings, and then they're going to be plastic mats underneath the 2 belt swings to try to basically keep the hole from getting there, because kids drag their feet, they stop, they start, they push. So that'll basically keep that area from kind of like eroding and having a big hole and the wood fiber going everywhere. So, it's exciting, yeah, and he said that he's like, obviously, weather is a factor, and I said, so let's just imagine that it's horrible all that week. And I said, well, is Thanksgiving week gonna be any good? And he's like, we could, if we had to, we could come in on Monday or Tuesday. And he's pretty confident that it's gonna be a one-day job. DPW has been amazing in helping with this project, with the application, with the preparation, with taking that out for us. So it's been a really good opportunity to work together with them. And we're gonna, I think in the December Municipal Matters, we're gonna try to do a little bit more of a write-up as to the whole project and promote it a little bit more, but it's really, it's great. And I talked to also him, Chris, about next stages for the fundraising piece for phase 2. And he said basically we do it through him, and there's another person at their office that handles, basically we set up a web page, we have a description of what the next phase is gonna look like, maybe some pictures, things like that, and then we set up a page kind of within their page that we can circulate out to people to say, hey, we are doing this next phase of the project. So that's exciting.
I love all of that. It's really awesome. And back to Carr's question, you know, I'm wondering if now that we have pretty good confidence about what the total cost of the project is going to be, I don't know if we need to wait to go back to the select board and say, okay, we had asked for $14,500, we ended up spending $12,300, yay us, high five, we're getting swings, and now we're doing a request for the $2,000 to do the architecture landscape plan. And again, knowing that it's not the same dollars, that we're doing a separate request, they're gonna vote yay or nay, but then that way we have that and we can schedule it and we're not waiting. Like, and I feel like order of events wise, we need to have that survey done probably before the snow flies, in order for us to then really get a plan going for phase 2, to then put up the website, start to socialize what it's gonna be. So my recommendation is we don't hold off on making that request, you know, until, like, I don't know when the next selectmen's meeting is, but,
It's this Thursday.
okay. So
And I did say I was gonna give them we're probably not gonna be able to get on the budget, the agenda for that one, but I did say I was gonna give them an update, basically what I've told you, as to
Yeah.
say, hey, here's the status of the swings. So that's good. But I think if we were gonna make that ask, we would wanna say more detail as to who was doing it, what it was like, why we're doing it, what we hope to get from it. So I think the more we can kind
Yeah.
of flesh that out, the better.
I think we can speak to that already from the research that we had already done from when Chris came and and then we looked at all the various playground options, but knowing that ultimately we want to understand how to make that landscape more accessible. So I feel confident we could speak to that without waiting much more. Just looking at the calendar. So if they meet this Thursday, the next time they meet would be the 20th? Is that right?
Let me just double check. I know sometimes the schedule gets kind of wonky.
Because that would be awesome if we could show up on the 20th and say, boom, they got installed, and have pictures.
It says, yeah, they're scheduled, Board of Selectmen here, 5:30 on the 20th.
Okay. So next up, do you want to get on that agenda, and then we can
Okay.
work together on,
Yep, phrasing that.
yep.
Okay.
And I think what we had, if sometimes I know procedurally, Lynn will want to make sure that everything's lined up, but he did, in a prior meeting, he voted that we would be okay.
Yes.
Up to $2,000. So I think as long as it's within that number that we're asking them for, and it's in line with what we've talked about, I think, I don't know that we need to
Revote or anything.
Do those meetings also start at 6?
5:30
5:30.
Selectmen, yep. Yep.
Well, that'll be a busy week, so if we're showing up for
Right,
the
the
11th,
previous-
19th.
Yeah.
just think
Busy time of year.
on my mind from a capital reserve standpoint.
I have a question just then about the fundraising, because I think you're right. We'll really need to understand, I guess, what phase 2 would be to then start fundraising. So it's really, I guess, just more a comment. I'm just thinking what the plan will be to fundraise. Like everything, every event we do, are we asking?
We would have an online fundraising page, so that's provided for free
Correct,
through
yeah.
Altiplay, and you can accept donations online.
Yeah.
So I think we'd want to approach it from like asking businesses, like, I think we should think
Yeah, I guess
through naming
that's
opportunities, like, it's
true.
gonna be, we're gonna want to do
Maybe we should talk
fundraising
about
that's
that
more than
our
the-
next
Yeah, for
meeting.
sure,
Do a big chunk on that.
for sure.
I gotcha.
Thank you. And maybe before that meeting, Putnam, can you check in with Lynn for any considerations around that? Because again, from a standpoint of sometimes how we approach it or how the money is specified to go to can limit things. So just any concerns she has or any suggestions, so when we're thinking about how we fundraise, that we're
Okay.
following the right guidelines
Yep.
that would be in line with what the town
Yeah,
needs.
that's a good point.
So details around how we fundraise, how we phrase it, how we, yeah.
Restrictions,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And I would envision, it would be nice to be able to say, hey, we're trying to fundraise this, and one option would be to say, the town is gonna put this in, we're trying to raise this. So it's not just saying, the town's not doing anything, and we're gonna fundraise this. I think that it would, in theory, it would be great if it could be kind of a matching thing. Again, I'm not sure the multi-phases of this too. And also, I think that the things we have down there, still have some life left in them. I don't want to jinx that, They'll break apart of it. Somewhere.
Middle school
all
boys, accept your challenge. Well, and that's the piece where it's like, order of events, because we're presenting a budget that doesn't have a line item for $50,000 for a playground.
Yep.
Where we can start off saying, hey, everybody, if we can raise another 50 grand, we're getting a match from the town. So that, I think, is gonna be an interesting thing to message around. So we'll sort it out. Okay, we can go back to the budget now. Thanks for the sidebar.
Yeah, so if anybody has any other questions about the budget, I'm happy to, Yeah, John? I hear, we'll make it official.
Ooh, going to Mike.
And then just so that it's recorded.
And I'm John Ellis in New London. The capital reserve, where is that written in this budget sheet? I just can't find it.
That's a separate one.
Oh,
Yep,
okay.
yep, that's it.
What was the amount? Sorry.
It's been proposed to put $4,000 into it. Again, that's a proposal at this time. That hasn't been accepted fully, but that was a recommendation to be able to put
Right.
$4,000 in the capital reserve for the rec department, recreation facilities, capital reserve.
Right. I'm on page 1, where it says expenses, and it says percent change on that first page. Does that mean everything is 0 except for the 9.33? I just didn't know why
It's weird, like,
or why
so
the
there's-
percentages couldn't be in there.
There's duplicates,
There
right?
are duplicates.
Which is confusing, because it's like there's 2 department head salaries, but one of them is
Right.
not used.
Right.
So I don't know what needs to be cleaned up in the,
It's a new Rustica, a new software, so I think it's getting these reports kind of dialed in a little bit.
The-
But yeah, I'm not sure about that.
The reason I'm asking, is this what will be presented to the selectmen?
Yes, this was presented to the
All right, so
selectmen.
and I'm just asking from a standpoint of clarity with them, not questioning the percentages, but you might want to do that to avoid them asking what I'm asking. Now, the telephone pagers, I guess there's an 87% increase. Do you know if, how many we have, how many pagers and telephones that are assigned to us?
So for the
When I
rec
say us,
department,
I mean you.
there's one here for the office, a landline, there's one at each beach, and then there's a cell phone that I have that the town pays for.
So that would be a total of three?
4.
Four,
3 landlines, 1 cell phone.
okay. And I think you mentioned you're going to talk to Lynn about that, is
Yep.
that right? Could you ask her if we could combine those with other departments to maybe get a bigger discount, or?
It is all kind of, I think it's one big pot that they pull it out of, and there are lines, but then there also might be whether we pay into kind of like a service, something through, that she'll break out through all the departments. That's not a very good description, but like with the computers, she'll say, okay, we pay this big license for everything.
Right.
So every department pays a chunk of it, shared expense.
Split across the budget.
Yeah.
So they're already
So-
getting the volume discounting.
Yeah, so
Right.
she does the best she can to get as good a deal as
Well,
we can.
And the reason I ask, if this is an indication of that, that would mean that all departments are going to go from, I'm using your numbers, 24 to 45, which is a double, almost a doubling, not quite, which is a substantial increase for what reason?
Yeah. That was my question too. It's like, are they replacing something like big? So I think, again, I know you said it was Lynn's kind of area that she asked for that request, but it would be helpful to have the paragraph description, just to,
Okay.
because I have the same question, John.
Yep. The conferences and training, this was what you were referring to with the, this outside consultant, is that right?
Lynn,
I think it would be helpful to list what specifically, is it a he?
Yes, Len.
What he
Yep.
does, and the reason that I say that is that while numbers can influence you one way, emotion can also influence decisions. So if it's, I'm going to give a silly, if it's mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, and we're teaching the kids that would be pretty important on the beach, versus just saying, we're going to go from 6,400 to 9,400. Maybe add, 2 or 3 emotional items that this individual helps you with.
Yeah, and we do talk a little bit about that in the narrative section. There's overall safety facility recommendations and support, the lifeguard certification and skills check, swim instructor, trainer, in-service training over the summer, but I agree that maybe we could flesh that out a little bit more.
Where were you reading, Putnam?
it says page 88.
Yeah,
At the bottom.
Oh, page 80, page 89, okay.
towards the back.
Wow. Yeah, no, I got it here. Yeah, thanks. No, I was just looking, going from page 5 to 89. It's a lot of missing stuff. Okay. And then I had, let me see. Just so I'm clear, because I thought I heard you say it's, the 236 is our current, and you're going to 240,000, for total budget, right? Or was it 230?
236 is what it was last year,
Right.
929, and 233, 826 was what this was, and again, it might have been tweaked a little bit.
Okay, so the 2027 is
240.
233 and not 240?
40, right. You see it.
Oh,
Because I thought I was
okay, I
hearing-
have an older one, yours is, all right.
I was hearing things.
Yeah, good
Nope.
catch, John.
So, yeah, that's a great catch. I have one from before, so I will get the newest one. And again, I don't think any of those increment those changes were my like, conferences of training or things like that. But I will follow up with Lynn to get the exact reason why all those are different.
Just so I'm clear, so the 233 is what you're submitting this year?
Nope, so yeah, it will be 240.
Oh,
976.
it will be
you're right.
240, okay,
Yeah, so we can't gaslight people and say we're doing less.
Yep, no.
okay. That's,
And I think there might have been adjustments in
What I thought I
various
heard.
things from her.
okay.
That's a very good catch, thank you.
So,
And John, I think a lot of this information is online on the budget 2027 page. They do have the updated budget worksheet, which would have all those missing percent changes you're looking for. If you go to that, it will have those breakdowns as well on the town website. Looks like it was posted today, 11/3/2025. So that might be another avenue to get the most current if you want.
right, no, I trust that we'll get the current ones when it's,
And it is, I mean, I think it's reflective of that these are proposals, this is a draft that we're, it's a work in progress. So it does change frequently, but I think that's why it's so important to have.
Well, it's interesting to see health and dental went up quite a bit.
know, I
And see,
noticed
that
that.
one's missing a percentage change, but it went from 31 to 37.
right. Let's see, just a couple more I had. And I wanted to ask about the, Putnam, I didn't know whether you had a chance or Sam had a chance to, down at the bathhouse at Elkins, as I've told you before, I noticed at night the lights are still on. Is there any way we could put a, I don't know, light sensor in there to turn those lights off all night?
Yeah, it's something to do with the automatic on-off switch is antiquated. So we're trying to figure that out, how to, for some reason, it's switching on. So I'm working with the folks
But
at
Sam is
DPW.
gonna try to correct that.
Yep, exactly. I know,
issue,
it's
maybe.
frustrating. And I appreciate you letting me know, and I'll go down and turn them off, and then they turn back on for some reason, but.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of now the dark winter months. I just need a date. This beachfront dirt work, I'll call it, is supposed to be completed when?
I can't speak for the DPW, I can just speak for
Right.
our part of it. So we have speaking to the swing set installation company, he was estimating an installation date, which should be hopefully one day from the week of 11/17 to 11/21. And that is weather dependent.
Right.
But
Yep, December 1.
fingers crossed.
Yep, understood. And then one thing, let's see, what am I doing? Oh, how many swings are gonna be swinging? How many adult swings? And there's one child swing?
So before, there were 4 swings. There
Right.
was 3 belt swings, which are for larger people, and then 1 bucket swing, which is the one with like toddlers.
Yep.
You can put their legs in, and they're smaller. So now we're gonna have 2 belt swings and 1 toddler swing.
3.
So 3, yep.
So 2
Going
adult
from-
and 1 child?
Yep,
Okay.
yep. And basically, it was about them being old and needing a replacement. The frame was going, but also it was about space and getting current safety recommendations about space in front of the swing, behind the swing. You're not supposed to have current safety recommendations, say you're not supposed to have a taut swing next to a belt swing, things like that.
Right. No, I just wanted to know what the total were. Last year, as we all know, there was a key statement, I think, made by, I think it was Beebe. And I wondered if we followed up on that key statement, which was, i.e. the cuts and everything that we overcame. To avoid that, have we talked to the selectmen on, as I remember, the key statement was, are the programs in the rec department robust? Using their words, and that has stuck with me for a year. Have you or anyone met with the selectmen to get their definition of what do you consider a robust program, so you can anticipate. Hopefully, it won't come up, but I always like to plan B, just in case somebody surprises me with a Plan B question. And with the budgets, and we all know about some of the challenges that we're going to face with in 2 weeks when the tax bills come out. Has anyone talked to the selectmen and gotten their input on that, answering the specific question with their specific answer, not your interpretation of that?
I haven't gotten that specific answer, but I feel like I do work to be in touch with them, to be able to update them on what we're doing. I think it's great that they're able to see what we're doing, the programs we're doing. For example, the Halloween event that happened last Sunday, a great example, 2 Sundays ago, great example that BB was there, Janet was there, both were helping volunteer, and I felt like they were able to see the work we do very vividly and the benefits of it that it brings for the residents and the community in general and the way we collaborate with other people. And I do think trying to be transparent with them about saying, here's what we have coming up, here's what we have planned, and continuing to have them feel like they are supportive of what we're doing.
Right, well, I agree.
And
I still think it would be worth sitting down and asking, I agree, because they were on all the programs last year too, as I remember, so was Bill. I just think it would be good to ask them that question
And
or their answer.
you're reminding me that something that's been effective-ish in the past and what we should probably be proactive about is creating like a one-pager review roundup of all the things that we did and spell out the things that were focused on adult recreation.
Right.
Because we get that question all the time and that mischaracterization that all we do is things for kids. Right, but then you have Zumbathon and you have these other events, the spelling bee that we partner with the Rotary. And so instead of waiting for a crisis to like brag about what we did to try to make up ground, we should just proactively report that out. Play defense, yeah,
Mention that
or
in
offense.
your presentation. Those that might have jotted down a question might not ask that.
Right,
Yep.
yep, that's a good reminder, so I made a note of that, we can get,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Thanks.
Do you want to go back to Halloween, or we?
Yeah. So Halloween was great. Really good event, probably 2,500 to 3,000 people, I would say. We had this event here, which was basically candy, some games, some crafts, bathrooms, which people really enjoyed, warmth as it got a little cooler. We had, I think, 6 to 8 groups that were on the green. They were kind of at the edge of the green. They really enjoyed themselves. We had the Oddfellows free hot dogs down there, and then we had the food truck, Wicked Tasty food truck, which was new this year. And he got back to me, and he said he's like, we definitely are interested in trying to do that again. Yeah, so I was a little nervous, kind of thinking like, oh, especially with the guys next to them giving out free hot dogs, but their food is very good, and they have for a food truck, they have a pretty wide variety of things they could do. So I think some people saw people walking around with what they had, and other people like, where did you get that? So I think if we were going to do that in the future, it would probably be even better, and it's definitely served the purpose like we were hoping to be able to have people kind of get something to eat that is kind of not candy. So I felt like that was really good. We had the incredible, amazing dancing witches down in the municipal parking lot, and rec commission members and the van down there giving out candy. No barn participation with the haunted house this year. They hope to be able to do that in the future. It wasn't in the cards this year. So hopefully they can do that in the future, but I felt like it was well-run. People seemed happy. Everyone behaved themselves. Great cooperation with fire department, police department, Department of Public Works. So basically, we had 19 staff members between fire and police, one Department of Public Works person. We had 9 incredible volunteers who helped out. We had 31 between residents and businesses and the groups there, places that wanted donations for candy, so that was as big a number as we've ever had, and which was great. We handed out, I believe, probably $2,600 worth of candy, all told. So that was great, and people really appreciate the donations. They understand that it's not covering everything, but I feel like they really appreciated that. Yeah, I felt like it was really a great event that people were excited about, and you know, we had the porta potties down there too. I felt like this was really nice here with bathrooms here. So yeah, I think anybody who had any feedback as to things they saw, definitely it's great to think about that and next steps, things that worked, things that we want to try new for next year. We did also have all the groups that probably close to 8 or 9, the groups that offer parking the day of, First Baptist, the SAU, the businesses down, St. Andrews businesses down Pleasant that opened their parking up to, you know, for overflow parking, so that's huge.
2 questions. I mean, if the food truck was a hit, like, do we already give them the time for next year?
Yeah.
When you do that, do you want to see if they'd want to do Strawberry Festival at the same time?
A good one.
It's just like a 2-for-1 when we
Yep.
reach out. If
Okay.
you've learned anything about booking
I
food
know.
trucks. And second, did anybody, this year, the municipal parking lot, we had extra candy. Last year, we ran out, I'm sure, like at 5:40, like it wasn't much after 5:30. So I was curious how that felt for anybody else. Was it well distributed, did we feel like?
We had some extra candy here, but
Like
not
other
a lot.
people that got stuff, did anybody else run out? Is it-
I haven't heard from, the
good.
people there said they had enough, but they didn't have tons extra. But again, we donate them this big, huge bag, and then they get some too. But again, most people were saying, I think depending on where they were, I heard kind of, 1,000 pieces of candy to 2,000 plus people here maybe. And I think it's hard too because people don't always go down. It's a big area, especially if you have little kids. So I think sometimes people don't always get down to or maybe more locals go down to Pressy Court and Colby Lane there. So I think sometimes, I haven't heard from any of them because sometimes in the past they'll be like, we have all this extra candy, can you take it? But again, it's kind of a hard thing to hit because you just never know if it's going to be 60 degrees and sunny or 30 degrees and snowing. But I think that our estimation that to offer the donations to other places, I think was really good and appreciated, and kind of is helpful with the spirit of the
Because
event.
in previous years, we were just distributing candy to residents and not to businesses. And if I recall, Carl, you had gotten the feedback from businesses that were like, help us out. And so I'm glad we were able to follow up with that this year, expand it.
And that might be something that as more, and I put out to the lakes, through the Lake Sunapee Chamber, 2 separate things to say, hey, so they went out to a lot of people. So we had a few people who stepped up for that, but not very many. So that might increase, and I think that that's why the candy drive is just so crucial. One, because candy is so expensive. It's going to be even more expensive next year, obviously. And that, we do that good faith effort.
I think we had leftover candy because I was kind of strict about 1 piece per kid. So I think it's my fault.
Does it roll over? Can we store it?
It doesn't last that long.
Yeah.
It lasts a while.
What do you do with it?
Pass it out at meetings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
And we don't have like, it's not like we have this huge store, like I have a few bags and I'll use them at different, we can use some for the holidays and things like that. But people, I think, do really appreciate having candy here.
I
It's
took a Twix
hysterical
bar,
to
yeah.
see the grown-ups go through and they're like digging through what they like and what they don't like. And I always hear like, candy's no good, get better ones. Like, "Eh." Just like the kids, they're like, no.
It wasn't a terrible amount left over, but I just was curious if it was felt well distributed.
Well, two things come to mind. Valerie Mars lives on Lake Sunapee. Maybe we should talk to her. There were two things that happened really close to the haunted event that we did that I saw that surprised me. One was there was a hiking trail. I don't know if it was off Pleasant
Off of
Lake.
Pleasant, yep.
Where it was like a story.
Right off of Pleasant.
Like a read a book as
Past
you
Bittersweet.
go, right? And I was thinking, wouldn't it be cool if we could weave that into our event?
I was
Because it
surprised.
happened like
Yeah,
the same morning or something. I don't know.
I feel like it was
but-
Saturday.
it was Saturday.
Yep.
Okay,
day
I knew it was that. And then
It
the
was the
other thing
Osmond
is,
Sergeant.
there's somebody in town, and I can't tell you where they are, but they have their own property.
Yes.
And they have a massive Halloween
Aaron
setup.
Christensen, he has the
know this
same
person?
last name as me, but we're not
So why don't we
related.
weave them into what we're doing? You know what I mean? Like, not necessarily go to his private land, but if they're so down on making a Halloween theme, and the barn isn't involved, or maybe we could get these people to be a part of what we do.
Yeah, I feel like, and I was gonna go, but I didn't make it over, but like, I think they spent a lot of money at Spirit Halloween and got all of the like animatronic jumpy, scary things.
It looked like quite a.
Where is
quite
it?
a-
Maybe they just get excited
Right by the
about actually
Presbyterian
being a part of the
church
community
on
event
11th.
versus like doing their own. And I
Yeah.
was wondering, like, liability-wise, how they had all those people on their property. I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm
Which
just
might
saying,
be a
but,
reason why
I
we
mean, these
don't.
are- It seems like these are people who want to do something.
Yeah.
So what if we had wove them into what we're doing if we have 3,000 people looking for stuff to do?
And there was, during the day, there was an event at the CFA, kind of a spooky art project. And then we were, like we had in the past, with the Historical Society. They had been doing the kind of ghost walks within the closed-off area. And this year, they did an event on the Old Main Street Cemetery, where they were
Yeah.
kind of ghosts of Old Main Street. And I heard there were 80 people there.
Yeah, I heard
That's awesome.
And that was at 1 o'clock, right before our event. So that was very, very popular. So we're excited to be able to collaborate with them on, again, that's a perfect example, something for adults that was really historical, interesting, kind of a spooky little edge to it, I guess, but very interesting information about our town and things like that.
Maybe they should have like a shuttle for seniors or something, from the COA or to get people over there, or maybe we participate in that. So.
It is interesting because I go back and forth between like the organizer and me wants everything under like an umbrella and all offerings having to do with Halloween and like one big menu. And then the other part of me is like, well, you know what? It's okay that there's like these other pop-up things that aren't necessarily tied to the rec, like the library, right? Was behind the story walk. Is that true?
No, it was Osmond
Osmond
Trust.
Oh, it was
Sergeant.
Osmond Sharp.
Yeah.
Like they did their own thing, they found their own audience, and maybe that's okay. It doesn't all have to be, kind of cross-promoted or, I don't know, like, I go back and forth on it.
But to Julie's
But,
point,
I
you're
mean,
thinking like,
if they
almost
knew
like,
we were
or
interested.
like that other family, maybe that it's a source of volunteerism. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well,
You're kind of
pe-
thinking like, pick the,
Well, people who get passionate about Halloween, and they're gonna put all this money and time into it. We didn't have the barn, we didn't have a haunted thing happening, maybe. I don't know, maybe it was too scary for kids in general. I don't know how scary it was, but maybe they would, sometimes I think people need to be invited. Like, hey, we're the rec commission and we'd like to have you be a part of our thing. I don't know. The Osmond thing, was it over at the Strawberry Field?
No, it was at the top. There's some trails there, just past Bittersweet on the right. There's a couple trails. I talked to them when I saw them out there, and I
Yeah,
said,
I mean,
how's it
I
going?
loved this, I loved the idea of what they did, and that could even be on the town green, it was like a storybook thing. I don't know, or maybe we could see if they were interested to be a part of it, or not. when I read those things, I was like, whoa, these things take a lot of effort, you know, to be doing these things independently.
And I think that it's an interesting thing that, you know, I always come from, I think we all kind of promote it as well, the collaboration aspect of this.
Yeah.
But then also, I think Halloween too is one of those things, maybe like Christmas or other holidays, where people kind of get touchy about, well, this is our event. You can't take away our event. We don't want to be glommed on to, because I did see a Facebook comment, which was interesting, that someone was saying, is there any trick-or-treating on Halloween night? And someone had said, oh, well, New London hijacked Halloween last Sunday. I was like,
Yeah, but there was Rocky Horror Picture Show at the
There
bar.
was. I have a question too, though. I think we should advertise why we do it on Sunday too, because I had a lot of people asking me,
yep.
what's the deal? Why does New London do it? And it's not just let's just do it on a Sunday. Why not? There's a lot more to it, so.
Yep. And that's something to think about, is that next year it is on a Saturday. And the following year would be on a Sunday, which would be perfect. But
I don't know if you saw, but someone had commented on Facebook, you know, I don't know why Halloween has to last a whole week. And I was like, October 2027, the stars align, and the actual day will be on a Sunday, so the townspeople and emergency services will all be happy at once. Yep, it's a cosmic, like, alignment, you know?
And what are we doing next year?
Yeah, so do we do the Saturday?
I think that's something, again, it comes down to safety of the event, and that is a big reason why it's on the Sunday, to be able to close it for residents, for traffic is less on a Sunday, businesses is less on a Sunday.
We get it, nobody else does.
Yep, but also that we have one of the larger, I don't know what Sotheby's looks like, but in the immediate area, we have one of the largest events around. So I think that we do need to kind of understand that the size of our event does limit us and puts the responsibility on us to say, hey, we can't just do it when it works for people. We have to do it, again, taking the guidance from police chief, fire chief, Department of Public Works, to be able to use their expertise to be able to say, hey, here, in our opinion, is the safest way to do this.
I also feel like this was partly community-driven, because we tried to not close the street anymore. I think it was 2022, and there was a huge amount of pushback. So just thinking in terms of that, sharing why, like, this isn't all just us saying, yeah, to your point, that we only want to do it on Sunday. I think this is the compromise that came from the immense feedback that people really, really wanted to still do this.
Yeah. It's a good reminder, Caitlin, that like, it's a constant re-education. Like those of us who've been following closely, like know why and like, you know, like have just accepted that that's the way it goes and we've seen the positive sides of it. But it's like, you gotta keep on updating as new families get plugged into it and ask those questions every year. Yeah.
Did we have enough volunteers? Did you feel?
Yeah, I think we did. We could always use a few more, you know, probably with the traffic, you know, support, kind of crowd support like that. But then it's hard, sometimes people volunteer and then they get somewhere that's not so busy and they're like, well, I didn't do anything. Like, well, we needed you, so, I think.
That happened to Kim, where she was.
Yeah, and it's just hard, but I think they again, the planning stage, when there's 30-plus people in the fire department kitchen and everyone's there and like, everyone's going here, barricades are here. You know, it's pretty amazing to see all the planning that goes into it. So I would always want to err on the side of, you know, safety and caution. So we had 12 last year, I think, and we had a lot of people who came back, seasoned veterans, so that's really good.
I forget, you emailed everyone who had helped before directly to get them to
Yep,
help
I reached out to
again?
them because it's kind of nice because, you know, just
They
repeat.
understand.
Yeah, exactly. They understand what it looks like, what they were doing, you know.
Yeah, Mark was so impressed with, you know, just how organized it was, that there was like a big map on the whiteboard.
Yeah.
And then he always power trips whenever he gets to wear an orange vest.
Were there any paid people? I heard a kid make a comment that he was
No.
making
Yep. So.
$20 an hour or something like that.
So the fire and police are, it's a duty detailed, so they're paid. And that was part of when we had this, several years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, to say, oh, we're not gonna do it, but then it's like, okay, well, if we're doing it, we have to have money, and then that was when the $10,000 was put in the rec budget to cover, that. So, yeah, it's their paid time.
Do they have to be in uniform? Because I'm just thinking that, I don't remember this kid, he just looked like a high schooler. He's like, I'm just getting paid to do nothing.
I don't know about that.
The only person I can think of would be maybe Colby Beck. He is a high schooler and he is on the, he's like in training,
Oh, maybe,
and it could have been him.
yeah.
All right.
Do we know how the numbers have grown as far as, and do we predict it'll grow more, and if so, do we need more volunteers?
I think this year was larger than last year, but we've been hovering, I think, between 1,500 to 3,000 people over the last several years. The first one after COVID was massive. Well, and it was 65 degrees, and it was the first one after COVID lockdown. So that one was big, but this one felt very, very, very good. It didn't feel like from my perspective and what I heard from other people, it never seemed like it got overly crowded. Seemed like there was enough room for people to move around. People moved pretty well, but I think that we do need to think about that, and it is a large number of people to invite for an event like that, and it's a lot going on over the course of 2 hours. So I think that always has to play into our planning of it. So.
Well, that is interesting, because like, I would wonder, and again, I know this would be a conversation with the chiefs, if you make it 3 hours, then not everyone comes for that concentrated amount of time, right? You'd end up with like a little bit more staggering of the crowd if you gave some breathing room, I think, to the length
Yep.
of the event. But,
Yeah.
But then our costs for staffing goes up
Right.
a lot.
And it was so cold, I couldn't imagine staying out another hour.
Oh, no, me either. I kept on checking my, I was like, all right, come on, 6 o'clock.
Done by 6.
Yeah.
I mean, it was dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I thought was
We were sweating.
funny.
You did more shows than you were planning,
Well,
right?
the funny thing is, we were supposed to do 2. We were
Yeah.
gonna do 4:30, and the Zumba teacher, Roberta, said, everyone's cold, let's start dancing. And then I was like, okay, now we'll do it 3 times. So
Yeah.
we ended up doing it 3 times.
It was great.
That's great. And Pumpkin People, we had 28 entries this year, which was the largest I've seen, which was great. It was Colby Sawyer's for nonprofit. It was Blue Loon for business. It was the library for the town, and then there was a residential person who was really fun and good. Ours didn't win, but it got some votes, and I think the people who liked it really liked it, and it was a good step forward for us. Next year it will be better, but I think it was a good step forward for us.
I can't believe that the transfer station didn't win. I loved the Sesame Street. It was great. It was so great. I voted for that one. It was really good.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think we had 1,100 votes, so it was fun to watch the numbers go. So I think that was great, and people get excited about it, and it's one of those things like, oh gosh, it's such a pain, how are we gonna do this? And when I was out there trying to balance the thing's falling over, I'm like pulling my hair out. But when you do it and people are into it and you see people interacting with them, it's really, really great.
And again, to John's earlier point of like patting ourselves on the back and letting the community know, like those are the things that build tradition and people look forward to, and it's fun. And,
Yeah, and my hope moving forward is with the municipal matters is to have like a rec report. We'll have a page every time to be able to say, hey, here's pictures from what just happened. Here's what's coming up for the next 3 months. Things like that. So I think that if we can always have, people will know right where to look for that they always know it'll be in the municipal matters. And I think getting more and more people, I wanted to do it to just get people to follow the Facebook page or Instagram, because the number of people that I think if everyone just went to the Facebook page and followed it, so many people just look at residents or don't see it or whatever. So I think that, again, getting people to find the information is really key. Because it feels like, we feel like, oh, this is everywhere, and some people are, oh, I can't see it, or I don't, so that's ongoing efforts.
The alley-oops one was
We didn't have a costume contest this year, did we?
We did not.
Didn't we do it last year? Did we have it?
No, I think we've talked about it.
We've talked about it.
I think that would be really cool. I see things about dog parades, I think, which would be people get really into a Halloween parade.
That would be good.
Yeah, I think one of the groups, I think one of the tables on the green was giving out dog treats.
They were.
Not-
There were a lot of dogs in costume.
They were really
A lot of
cute.
dogs in
They were really
costumes.
cute. I will say, like, again, my vision for like the green is that they would like spread out on the green and encourage people to like walk on the green, but it just doesn't happen. They line up.
Doesn't.
Seeing that behavior, like I'm wondering with the Wicked Tasty food truck, it could have probably been better. Well, I don't know. Like, because it seemed kind of crowded, having the line for Wicked Tasty and those tables all there. It was a little congested. So just something to note maybe
Yeah.
next year to talk through and figure out if the tables felt that.
And I mean, maybe we do some sort of like little trick-or-treating trail we can feed people into, because it's a great space, as we know.
Yeah.
But it is kind of hard to get people off of Main Street.
Yeah.
Do we know if people waited a long time to get a hot dog or a food truck? Do we know do people say like, oh, I couldn't get anything to eat because it's.
When I walked over, it all seemed manageable. Like,
That's a lot of
it was
people to
moving.
feed just with a couple
Yeah.
vendors.
Yeah. But
And
I
I
don't think
forgot-
they fed like everyone. I think there were a good number of people that didn't get up there, but people were, I think it was, served its purpose for sure. Yep. Yeah, so I think that one is, again, as people, we just kind of like digest a little bit, think of things we want to try next year moving forward. So that's great. Really good one. I think that we should feel really good about that, because I know a lot of people were really excited about that. And that's a great, very, people see it, high visibility. And I think people see all the work that goes into it and see that it was a great event, so that's really good. All right, so as always, we kind of get towards the end of time here. So next up for us, we will be having New Year's New London, which is a collaboration with the Center for the Arts, the library. Our portion of that will be a little kids countdown here from like 11:30 to 12 in conjunction with another event. They're going to have a performer come here, a magician come here. So we'll have a little kids.
Sorry, Putnam, 11:30 a.m.
No, at night for the little kids.
Oh, we are doing 11:30 at night to
It's good for them to
12
stay
o'clock.
up that late. I think it's a good thing. We'll try it. No.
Scratch that from the minutes. He's being
So
sarcastic.
it's like a toddler fun thing. So at 11:30 a.m. to 12
Oh, my gosh,
p.m.
you,
I'm so used to it with Jesse. It's just like, I know when I hear.
Cara's sitting over there like, fascinating, fascinating, okay. So like they can ring in the New Year's, we'll get them
Her
some
face was like, are you crazy?
noisemakers. Yes, thank you for clarifying.
Parents are going to be psyched.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, right.
Pick them up at 1, we'll sign them in, sign them out, we'll get some high school kids. But so basically, that's our portion of it. The Center for the Arts is going to be utilizing Whipple, as well as various other places around town for indoor events for music and art happening pretty much, I want to say from like 2 to midnight. There will be an event here going till midnight with a DJ, yeah. So it's a collaboration with them, and we're gonna have the rink going and try to do a hockey tournament there. We were talking about trying to do like a fun little like skating contest, like rec ice capades, kind of something like that you
Oh, I
could come
kinda
and
love
design your
that.
little program. But also a free skating. We would try to maybe, have music down there, or have a fire pit or two for, s'mores or something like that. So first year we're doing it, but they're excited about it, and I think there's an interest in the community to try to do it, so great collaboration with them about that. That is ongoing planning. Winter Carnival will be coming up February 6th and 7th, Friday and Saturday, with the fireworks happening down at the SAU. as far as I know, the chili contest will be happening, the s'mores will be happening. Then we would be doing another kids' art event that Saturday during the day, kind of a 9 to noon, 10 to 1 kind of thing like we did last year. And then the spelling bee on Saturday the 7th here. It would be great to get people to kind of put that on their calendar, whether we have a team or we have volunteers here. It's always been a lot of Rotary people here and me, so I think it'd be great if we could get it's a little more, and it's really fun. It's a really fun event. So I think that would be great. I know we had talked about doing some planning. I can get information out. I met with Dulcie, who's the Rotary person I've been working on it with. So I think it was Jackie, you, and Caitlin, you talked about Winter Carnival? Okay. So I will send out, try to set up a Zoom time to meet soon, because that is starting to be planned, but,
There's nothing on the 8th as of right now, just the 6th and 7th?
so we would have, the weather backup for the fireworks would be on the 8th.
Okay.
Yep.
Nothing else. I think that's what gets tricky is like spreading out the volunteering.
Yeah.
So like I did the third Friday night and Sunday, but I can't do Saturday.
Yeah,
So
totally.
maybe if it's a little tighter, then that makes it easier,
Yeah.
I think, to like.
Yep.
And I felt like if we were gonna have a lot of Rotary there, I wanna be impactful with my time. But
Yeah.
if we don't have the Sunday and it's just a weather backup, that might free up some
Yeah,
space
Yep.
for volunteering, so that's helpful.
yep.
The Festival of Trees, is that?
Yep, that's gonna be happening as well, the 21st through, don't quote me on that, but I feel like the 21st through the 30th, 31st, and our thought would be that it would be kind of overlapping with this New Year's New London. We would be having some trees in here. We might have to shuffle them around a little bit, but, as well with having the other event in here on the 31st. So that might impact that, but the Festival of Trees will be happening, December, go ahead.
Oh, and then Santa's arrival.
Yep, December 14th, Sunday, 3 to 5. I'm gonna reach out to Santa very soon. Get on his calendar. And then moving forward, we
You
would
said
be.
3 to 5?
Yep, here and the green. And then looking at the 31st, and then trying to do maybe a kids' trip with the van on the 29th and the 2nd. See if we could get, whether to the trampoline place or to the Montshire or bowling. We've talked about trying to go do bowling, offer a couple opportunities for kids there. We've been in contact with this, I'm kind of getting into other things besides those two, but with Colby Sawyer to try to do some kind of a community night at one of their winter basketball games, which would be really cool. Talking to their athletic director about that to get some community attendance and engagement there. And maybe we have a game where we're, pick up people from Woodcrest or Center for the Arts or Bittersweet to bring them up to the game using the van.
I thought you meant them playing. I was
No,
like,
yeah.
wow,
Woodcrest All-Stars.
Yeah.
And that's what Colby Sawyer has been saying, they have some opportunities to be able to say, a youth thing or something like that, so those.
It's always fun when the outing club comes
I
to
know.
the high school,
Yes.
and they'll have their little kids play during the halftime during,
It's
Yeah.
so cute.
yeah.
It's great, so I think that's a
Those kids
wonderful,
take it serious,
Oh
like
my
it's like a
gosh,
big
yeah.
deal.
big stage. Speaking of the outing club, people saw that their director is leaving,
That is a
Yes.
bummer.
that
She's
is,
been really
yeah, she's been incredible,
a change maker.
Pittsburgh.
yeah.
Her husband got a job, I think, in Pittsburgh.
Yes. I know.
So doing that, and then also looking into, I think it'd be great if we could get people up to a Dartmouth College game, using the van to have it leave from here. That's an opportunity. I think just more and more kind of trying to find those trips that work well for people's schedules, that we can utilize the van some more, so I think that's exciting. We are going to, it's kind of last minute, but there's a gentleman who he has a gardening company, and he wants to do a course. We're going to try to do it in November, the 15th, where you can kind of make your own little succulent garden. And during that, he would
I
be
know this guy.
Jonathan Golden. Yeah. He's done one out in Bradford at the greenhouse. Trying to do that, and you pick your succulents, you mix up the soil. He has his own soil. You get these like little decorative things that you can kind of decorate it with. And he also gives you it's kind of like a class sort of, in talking about basically tips and tricks for indoor gardening, things like that. So that's kind of something new and different we'll try as well.
Would that be in here?
Yeah, yep, and there'd be a cost associated with it. I think we're gonna charge people, $20. The 15th of November, that one, was a little bit last minute, but,
Gosh, already.
Back to the basketball thing,
yep.
I go to a lot of the women's games. So, I mean, would it be an opportunity for girls to go?
Of course, yeah.
All kids, maybe a men's game, maybe a women's?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I think it would be great to just, it's a thing, again, to build connections with the college, and I think people forget, and you're like, wow, you can go watch some great soccer games, or field hockey, or volleyball, or basketball, and so yeah, that's a really great connection.
Awesome.
I have
Yep.
another question. Is there any way we can get kind of a schedule of what the Center for the Arts is planning
Yeah.
for the New Year's thing? Like, can we come?
Yeah, there's gonna be more and more information coming out soon, from them with their schedule.
Are you on that committee?
I'm helping them. I'm not in charge of their advertising. Yeah, there's a couple people who are doing it. So yeah, that information should be coming out soon. If you don't already follow their social media, and they already put out one little thing with a little logo kind of saying, here's what's coming, more details soon. But I think there's gonna be more details coming soon. And so we would be looking at, next meeting would be December 1st, same time here, and then January 5th. Next time in December, we'll schedule out the next couple months.
Oh, yeah. I will. I just talked to her today, but I will talk to her again.
Do we want to adjourn at
Yeah.
7:01?
Yep. Sounds good. Yay. Thank you.